Alright, hey guys, Fiddle Ferret here, and welcome back to a new manga series I plan to be doing on my channel. And like I've talked about it with you guys before, what we're going to be doing is we're going to be doing some volume reviews. And the first series we're going to start with is a series that is growing on my heart so quickly, and it's My Hero Academia. So, I'm going to be starting with volume 2 of the series because I've mostly already done Volume 1. I guess if you can go and watch my first take video. I don't have spoilers in that. There will be spoilers in this series. This is like how people do chapter reviews as they come out. Well, I'd rather do like full volume reviews when they come out in English, and so we can talk about them and just kind of discuss what happened in the book. So the first thing that really happens in Volume 2 is that we get a look at the students' superhero I use generally, costumes. And so we haven't really learned at this point what all of the quirks are exactly for all of the students. And so this gives an interesting insight, especially to some of the students that we still don't really know what their quirks are. And so as far as Deku goes, and I'm going to call him Deku for now because it's easier for me to pronounce. As a lot of you know, and here's a little fun fact, just a quick side note as we go off on a little tangent. I always had trouble reading as a kid, and so I would always pronounce words in my own way. So even in English, there are still words in English today I pronounce wrong because I said them so long the wrong way that it's hard for me to break that habit. And so I mess up words in my own language, so when it comes to Japanese words and names, I screw them up all the time. So I'm grateful to you guys who correct me down in the comments, because some of you guys do that. So I'm not like mad about it or anything, but just understand that I'm gonna say something's wrong sometimes, so don't rage out too much. I'm gonna get names wrong. If you feel like pointing out how wrong I am, go for it, and I'll try to get it better in the next video. But our main character's first name, you can see when looking down on my screen here, is Izuku, I believe is how you say it. But I'm just going to call him Deku for lack of a better understanding of the Japanese language. But his costume, I feel like it's on purpose made to be not super cool. It's kind of creepy. It's like a big bunny rabbit type face with ears. And so you look at it and go, well, that looks lame. But it doesn't take long into this volume at all for that almost to be proven otherwise. And so what we have here in this first volume is our first like training exercise with All Might. And so the characters, of course, you have Deku matched up against his childhood, I don't even know if you can call him rival. It's almost his childhood bully, really. This is really where we get to learn more about a lot of the characters' quirks, and especially Katsuki's quirk. Because it basically like lines out for you in this volume exactly what his quirk does. I mean, he secretes like fluid from his palms that's like nitroglycerin that he can use to like ignite and create explosions. How unique is that? One thing I love about My Hero Academia is just that it's so difficult to create new superhero powers, or new quirks, or whatever you want to call them, even though they're not new. It's like having the ability to like make things explode or cause explosions isn't exactly like unheard of, but the author does it in such a way that he brings it in such a new light. It's like it's specifically secreted nitroglycerin from his palms, and that's how he creates the explosion. I mean, that's so interesting. And so we really get the dynamic between Deku and obviously the childhood rival here. And so they have this really cool fight, and you really get to see that Deku is starting to really mean business here. Because in the first volume, it's a bit lame. He's kind of trying to come up here through the ranks because let's face it, he's still a normal kid. And for not using his quirk at all against him really showed his intellect and I guess his hero ability, really. Because going up, and I've said this for a while too, I feel like Katsuki is like the most likely character to become a villain. I feel like at some point we're going to have a conflict between him and his own conscience or other characters. Just the way his attitude works, maybe that won't happen, but I feel like my prediction right now is that at some point he's going to become a villain of some kind. I don't know permanently, always, but I feel like at some point he's really going to be tempted by the darker side of things. And so like I said, we also get to learn some more about some of the other heroes, and of course there's going to be somewhat of a love interest, and what you would imagine is going to develop into one of those type of interests is the young girl, I'm going to butcher this because I really have no idea how to pronounce her name. It's like Okako or Ochako, really not sure exactly how to pronounce it, but she possesses the quirk of like zero gravity. And so it's also just another really interesting thing. I mean, I believe exactly how her quirk works is she can affect things she touches, so objects she touches, but she also has like the kind of drawback, I think it makes her nauseous if she uses power too much. So obviously Deku ends up winning in the end, but he has to use his powers again. And so I love how they're able to build Deku from really truly the bottom. Like, Shonen always have these kind of situations where you have this weak character and he grows to be super strong. But I really like somehow the way they do it with Deku, because he's kind of inherited this amazing power, but obviously it makes sense that how in the world is he supposed to conjure or control this power when he's never even fathomed controlling power like that before. So he seems to be already a recurring theme of him getting injured or using his power and all that kind of thing. So we get to learn some other interesting characters. We get a glimpse of like the guy with the ice and like is the ice and fire quirk, which is really interesting because normally those are always quirks that are split up. So again, just shows the creativity of this series. But then we kind of get into the latter half of the book where the students are all going on a training mission. I think it's a rescue mission. And so we have Eraserhead and Teacher 13. I believe this is the first time Teacher 13 is introduced. And we get our first real glimpse of villains. And again, what I've got to say about this series is it always amazes me how much anime and manga in particular, how there are so many different styles. And it blows my mind how you can create a style that the second you look at it, you go, well, that's My Hero Academia. Or you look at it and go, you know, that's Food Wars, that's Naruto. You can just see it, that style. It's like, how on earth can they create so many styles? And I was wondering, there's something in particular I love about the art style in My Hero Academia. And I couldn't quite figure out what it was, and I think I kind of am starting to figure out what it is. It's this innate ability for the author, the artist, I mean, to, that's probably the same guy? Yeah. Sorry, I'm such a good reviewer. And so it's this innate ability to almost create like a 3D image or feel. I'll probably put up a picture or something here so you can see what I mean. But the characters pop off the page. They come through panels. The panels are not guidelines, you know, to be run by. They're used in a way to make the story come to life even more. And so that's one thing that is really just draws me into the world that he's created here. And so like I said, the villains come in for the first time, and the villains are absolutely terrifying. I can't imagine, I believe I read an author's note in here about how he hates drawing hands, and so he doesn't understand why he made a villain, say, completely hands. And so the villains come basically with the plan of killing or destroying All Might, because they believe they have created a monster, what's his name, is it Numu or Nemu? Something like that. And this thing is crazy strong. And so Eraserhead, you know, kind of jumps in, and these villains are not just low-level villains. Some of them are. There's a big group of cronies, but these villains are the real deal, per se. And so the students get scattered, Eraserhead is left to fight the villains, and you are left with this interesting dynamic and some character building for some new characters. You get the girl with the frog quirk, the guy with the sticky head things. I actually really like her. The more I see of her, the more I actually really find her interesting. Her power seems pretty bland and obvious, but there's something about her character that I really want to see explored more. I feel like she could really be a strong character. Right now it's kind of setting her up as just this background character, but I almost wonder if she's going to have a bigger role somewhere down the line. And so again, Deku is forced to use his abilities, and he's getting really smart and clever with his abilities, as far as basically he busts up his, you know, his thumb and his index finger, but, you know, whatever. I mean, they got out of the situation, and that brings them back to the shore, where they really see what has become of Teacher 13, who, you know, is in obviously a bad way, and then Eraserhead, who has been getting demolished by this creature. And so all this time, All Might, this is another thing, it's another classic shonen type thing, is that how can they do humor? And what I've loved about My Hero Academia so far is that it's not having to use like just certain tropes that are always used in anime and manga, like, ooh, naked girls, or ooh, big boobs, or butts, or weird falling positions. No, it's more of a natural, funny slapstick humor instead of just the, you know, let's go straight to the girls' asses humor. And as much as I enjoy that humor sometimes as well, it's really refreshing to see a story going a different route. So with all the stuff All Might's going through, and you're just like, this super intense battle's going on, and then All Might's just like not here, and like, oh, it's a good day. And so at the end, obviously, Eraserhead, Deku throws a punch at this big monster, and nothing. And so things are really looking grim. And right at the end, you have All Might that comes in. And this is what I love, the contrast that it can use with All Might when he's not in his superhero form, and All Might when he's just like serious shit. It almost just gives you like tingles as you're reading it. You're just like, oh, that was so amazing. And so obviously in the next volume, it just builds so much tension because it wants to pass it off. And you have that like monologue as well, which gives the story even more tension, which was a great decision. It gives the monologue, I believe, probably from Deku's point of view, of, you know, it talks about how when it has the monologue of, oh, it was so ironic that we were just doing a training session, or, you know, I thought, you know, this was all going to end, or I was going to be a hero. And you really learn that they're just kids, and there are some really powerful and dangerous villains out there, and what's All Might going to be able to do now that he's shown up? Well, anyway, guys, I do hope you enjoyed this video. I hope it wasn't too long or rambly. I hope you liked the format. I'm still trying to test this out. I like to do stuff like this, whether it's just me just chilling, talking about a volume I liked, and just basically talking about the volume, if you'd like a more recap type thing. So anyway, guys, I do hope you enjoyed this video. I definitely will be doing volume 3 not too far down the road. That way I can catch up, because volume 4 comes out, I want to say, in April. And so when volume 4 comes out, we'll be able to do it right as it comes out, and then we'll be able to just keep going with the whole series. But anyway, guys, I've been Fiddle Ferret, and I'll see you back on the prowl next time. Bye-bye!